Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid and I'm here with Sakane.
Hello, everybody.
He's joining us again after his very small vacation from Dominion's casting. I've brought him somewhat up to
That's right.
speed with the happenings of the world.
Yeah, well, happenings of the world is the right way to put it because all across this world, things have been happening.
Right.
So
A
it
lot
seems
of thrones have
Atlantis,
changed hands. And
yeah,
then Atlantis is they've been to show you on the score graph, they've been kicked down pretty hard. And then the army size graph, which I think is the other part of this story, you can see like their armies have been reduced. Their armies and land holdings have been proportionally reduced by half.
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that army size looks like Raga. Uh, he's come out ahead in terms of land, but he definitely took a beating doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas Marignon and Bogarus seems have been able to gain quite a lot at not so much of a cost.
Yeah, they've been like powering up. Here you can see. Well, is this actually that may not be it? I don't know where. Ulm probably has a corresponding drop. We can't see it in their military here too, but they definitely fell on the sword to save the game. Um, and I was telling Sakane before the episode started, but I didn't actually have the full story in the episode before this that we recorded. Um, to share with all of you, the viewers, what actually happened in the throne rush, because people in the game told me, even though I had the turns missing. So when Atlantis was marching this army up here to go for the taking the final throne, apparently what happened is Ulm, with everything they had, and we didn't think Ulm had an army that could challenge this Atlantis army. It had, Queen of Air Elementals, all this other stuff. Um, they took everything they had left and they marched it in to fight Atlantis. And they had a battle, and apparently, if Atlantis had won that battle, he would have probably won the game. I think he would have won the game. I think he had enough thrones, and then if he could have captured them all, he would have won. But Ulm won by like one commander. I mean, just both armies were destroyed, and there was like few guys left on the field in Ulm won, apparently. Which, if I'm guessing, was probably like an immortal vampire that doesn't ever run.
The best kind.
Right. So, but now I guess what we're going to have to orient ourselves with is like what's going to happen now, because all the previous wars have kind of been put on hold except Marignon and Ulm, because Marignon's obviously been chowing down. The balance of power shifted, but what are the new kind of diplomatic alliances and wars, and what is all that going to look like? I mean, if we just look at this, we see Ulm Marignon fighting, Ulm Gath fighting, Raga and Ulm fighting. So Ulm's getting kind of eaten, digested, it looks like. Bogarus and Raga. Okay, that's interesting. So there's a lot of Bogarus Raga conflict going on.
And Bogarus is doing the attacking.
Right, so let's take a look at that, because that's really interesting to me. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So yeah, so he's pushing like south of like in the Satis area.
Right. And he has
Yeah.
options. He can go for this throne, try to take it from Atlantis, which is going to start getting him pretty close to a throne victory. Or
And
he
he
can
can also
start putting pressure on these juicy heartlands with lots of income.
he also has pressure on the throne down there that Raga took from Atlantis.
Oh, that's right. And like you were saying, Bogarus came out from all of this chaos militarily ahead, while Raga fell behind some.
Yeah. And presumably like Bogarus, well, we'll see. Yeah, okay, so these are the globals that are up.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
was going to see if.
So Mother Oak is still Illwinter is still up.
Right. Raga controlling most of the Jimjin globals. But Bogarus, kind of okay, because Illwinter helps him too, because he's a cold nation.
Yep.
Um, and Stellar Focus is okay, and Marignon probably not loving Illwinter right now. So
I
this
mean,
is one of the armies marching into to Raga. So it looks like a lot of Skelly spammers with some Thunderstrikers. And then this guy for Army of Gold. I like this army composition.
Those are like indie heavy cav, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
So it's got some guys with some punch and kick, a lot of chaff for breaking down fort walls, and then a mage contingent. Like, this is actually a reasonably cheap army, is what I like about it.
Yeah. And he's got dudes placed in the back to catch flyers and stuff like that. So.
Okay. So he's attacking here and here and here, basically just on this front. Is he attacking anywhere else, Zach? Did you look around?
No, because I think what's going on is he had a peace with Marignon from even before the throne rush, and that is still holding.
Right.
So that's like one of his big borders. And now that Marignon is eating Ulm, he doesn't have to worry about that whole border.
Right.
And his only other border was with Atlantis, who, like, Atlantis is not going to worry about Bogarus because Atlantis has a huge Raga Doom stack right next to his capital.
That's right.
So Bogarus is totally free to move on Raga right now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's a pretty good summarization of, I think, what's happening. We have Marignon focused on finishing off Ulm, and Bogarus now taking advantage of the fact that Raga has been pulled in 50 different directions and is just plowing through with overwhelming force on this northern front of the Ragan Empire.
Yeah, now, that Ragan Doom stack can probably kill any one of those individual Bogarus armies, but there are like 5 of those Bogarus armies, so...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Raga does, because Raga they could probably set up, I mean, these are by no means invincible armies with like late game summons and stuff, right? So there's a lot of way to fuck with them still. But they're not weak either, they're mage supported and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what Raga does. Do you have any predictions?
Yeah. Well, if like Raga needs to, because it looks like Raga is also trying to finish like getting Gath. If I see that correctly.
Right. Yeah, they're down here.
And there's like some messiness in like the Raga Ulm Marignon zone. Looks like there's like stuff going back and forth. Maybe they're just fighting over Gath and bumping each other. But yeah. I think so. I don't know what it looks like Raga and Marignon could just be happy to let things be as they are, right? They don't need to fight anymore. Right. So I think Raga is probably in a 1v2 because Atlantis is going to be fighting Raga.
Yeah.
Because he has nobody else to fight. And then Raga has to defend against the Bogarus invasion. So diplomatically, I doubt he's going to be able to drive a wedge between Marignon and Bogarus.
Right.
So the only other relevant player, I guess, is Utgard. And if we just take a quick look at Utgard, Utgard is...
They're holed up over here, but...
Like, who could they attack? They're not going to go for Ulm. Like, Marignon's going to get Ulm. It's a little awkward to go west into Bogarus.
I think they're next on the menu for Marignon.
Yeah, probably. I was thinking, from the point of view of Raga, is there anything diplomatically you can do to get somebody to attack Atlantis or Bogarus? And the answer, I think, is no.
Yeah.
I think maybe as Raga, you have to use your Doom stack to try to deal a killing blow to Atlantis.
Yeah, I do too.
You seed, you retreat and seed some land to Bogarus, and then you have to kill one and then turn around and try to kill the other.
And maybe there's some fancy footwork he can do with mages or some kind of thing to deal with, because these are not unkillable stacks. So
yeah, we'll have to see, because I'm not 100% sure what he's got like currently, but. Maybe he finds a correct size of army that just is big enough to kill one of those Bogarus armies, but allows him to not all be in one place. Plus, the other thing is it's Raga, so he could just have like 20 little flyer armies and just go like capture half of Bogarus's provinces in one turn,
Yeah.
be a jerk like that. So that's probably
This is
the
such
way
a
to
good
go.
time for Bogarus to attack Raga, though. Because,
Yeah.
one of the things we say is like in a perfect game of Dominions, it would never end because people would keep shifting alliances so that nobody ever got far enough ahead to win.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see how that's not possible here. Like, Raga has taken so much stuff from Atlantis that there would never be acceptable peace terms. Like, it's too complicated now.
Yeah, Atlantis is not gonna like
Right.
he's losing his cap circle.
Right.
He can't he
But
can't have
Raga
peace.
probably couldn't be like, hey, we can have peace, but I'll just give you your cap circle back.
No, Atlantis would never agree. Yeah.
Because Atlantis would never agree. And so that's like, I think, one of the main mechanics through which that process of shifting alliances doesn't actually always shift. People get locked in. And these guys are heavily locked into war. And Atlantis still has a fair amount of stuff. Like, these are no joke armies right around here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
shall we
there's
get a
all
next
these
turn?
wailing winds. Yeah, let's load something up.
Turn 74. Okay, we have a magic phase attack. Raga attacking ooh. Call of the Winds. The almighty Call of the Winds. Ooh, this actually might be super value. Oh, man. That's probably the best value Call of the Winds casting I've ever seen.
Yeah, it doesn't often work out that way.
Yeah. Get 2 mages in a province and not lose anything.
3 mages.
Oh, were there 3? Shit. Yeah, 3. Damn. Lose 1 bird. I mean, that is literally the perfect Call of the Winds.
Yep. Very nice.
Okay. And then let's look at this, see where we need to focus. So we've got Raga and Bogarus, Raga and Atlantis. It looks like Raga is going to be the most interesting part of all this. So
yeah, but let's also check the Marignon and Ulm fights because a few of those are going to be.
Okay.
We're going to have a big one there eventually, but.
Right.
All right, so
this is chaos. Atlantis attacking Raga up here.
Raga fighting back, so they're trading provinces there. Bogarus moving in.
Yeah, Bogarus moving in. Oh man, so complicated.
Yeah, I don't know if there were any major fights there. We could. Oh, look, Raga's raiding behind sort of enemy lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I think he needs to do that, but like times 20.
Well, there's a lot of medium armies around. Like, there's this medium army. There's this one. There's this one. But yeah.
Yeah, and I say that, but now that I look at what land he owns, because I was kind of, in my mind, he still has like that coastal throne that Atlantis now controls. That was
Right.
Raga's for a long time. Not
one?
that one. No, I mean the one to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, to me, that was Raga. So I'm like, yeah, he could just jump into like Joman, where that was, like with his flyers.
Yeah.
He could raid all that. But actually, since Atlantis controls that, Raga is actually quite limited in terms of how far he can project his flyers.
Yeah. This area over here is not looking very much like Raga anymore.
He moved his Doom stack
from here to here.
Yeah. And I wonder why.
I'm thinking he wants to protect this throne.
I mean, that's a decent second up. Like, because if he doesn't feel like he can confidently kill Atlantis's big stack on his cap without losing a lot, and that's a tall order,
right?
Then maybe he feels his Doom stack can kill Bogarus's.
Yeah.
In like a random
if
battle.
If this Doom
his
stack
throne.
dies on top of this cap, it's
He's
basically dead. GG for Raga.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't feel quite up to it, and he wants to have a fight with Bogarus instead. And honestly, he can afford to let Atlantis take back some of the land.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, why don't we take a quick look? By the way, is Gath dead yet? Like, how is that?
No, they're not dead.
No, but I mean, Raga was on his cap, so.
So he breaks out with some Benjamite slingers, the most
But there was
fearsome of
nothing
warriors.
like he moved.
Oh man, these guys are actually not bad. Two attacks, bronze swords.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty nice.
That's actually not bad at all. Put flaming arrows on these guys.
They have surprisingly good human troops, but it looks like Gath moved his army away. I guess he figures Gath is not important right now.
Wait, where's Gath's army? Or you mean Raga?
Yeah, Raga.
Yeah.
Because he was sieging it last turn.
Right. Yeah, he moves off. It looks like he's got some score to settle with Atlantis, and he needs these troops down here. Like,
yeah, he needs to retake that coast for sure.
And giving land back to Gath doesn't matter, whereas giving land to somebody else does matter.
Let's check quickly what happened in the Marignon Ulm fights.
Oh, we've got a significant
something
battle.
Happened.
Okay, I think we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah. There are a lot more orange things than there are blue things.
Yeah. It's dangerous having a vampire here, though. Of course, a bunch of astral mages, he could get stolen or... Oh, but it's enough to cut... It's enough to make them bloodlet themselves. There's astral healing.
That's one of the tricky things late game is how do you have a sustainable large army?
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why we often play with your gem gen item mod.
Yeah.
Is it allows you to basically have a late game army that can cast all the important spells repeatedly without having to ferry a million gems into it.
Right.
So this was obviously it's a loss for Ulm, but that could be a strategy. Is if you know that Marignon is going to be like killing his own army because that's his strategy, then you can kind of gem bait a lot.
I mean, this caused more like if you sum up gold lost, there was more gold lost for Marignon.
Yeah.
So not bad, I guess, actually for Ulm. I mean, if this is what you got, this is the most you can do with it. Just make him waste a ton of gems and bloodletting his whole army.
Yeah.
And then he's moved over here. Oh, this is just as big of a battle.
I think, though, like, Marignon can afford this.
Yeah, definitely.
And the problem is that this is all Ulm has. Like, it makes sense to whittle away your enemy if you have like a big army to have your big last stand with to fight the in this case Marignon's whittled away army, but he doesn't. Like, I don't think Ulm has anything left now.
Well, I think that I agree with that for like the Ghoul Guardians, like keep the Ghoul Guardians in a doom stack.
Mm-hmm.
But all this other stuff's actually kind of a liability. Like, if you lose 100 wolves, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And like, got some good shadow blasts off. I don't know who cast that.
Well, I saw a Vampire Queen. That might be the Pretender.
Oh, maybe it died. Oh wait, no, is this it? Is this where the shadow blast came from? I think it was. This must be his god.
Yeah.
But plus side for Marignon was he didn't get gem baited here really. I don't think he put up hardly any spells. Just a few air elementals, I guess. And yeah, not a huge fan of this for Ulm on this one. Didn't exactly make Marignon pay a pound of flesh here for 200 something guys dying. Hi, Lucy Sack, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you're there. Okay. Ulm raiding back out, taking this. You know what I do like though is like, okay, Doom stacking up. What does it really mean? It means sitting in your cap, kind of, from or moving your thing one stack around. So I do like that he's got. I mean, these look high commitment, but except for the Ghoul Guardians, a lot of it's not. A lot of it's immortal thugs and garbage chaff, and he's trying to control his cap circle.
Yeah, so I think Marignon has outplayed him in the sense that Marignon has found a size of army that he can have multiples of, and that crushes anything that Ulm brings.
Yeah.
Except maybe if Ulm had like his entire Doom stack with him. And that puts Ulm in a very awkward situation because I don't think he traded favorably this turn.
Yeah. So here he just levels up the Fallen Angel with some experience, makes him retreat. But yeah, now it's the peoples of Ulm are down to about 200. So it's time for a last stand.
But those are thralls and wolves. Like there's nothing left.
There's nothing left. The vampires are probably might respawn, and there's the final battle. But I think we're down to the wire, unless somebody like Utgard.
Now, what I want to see is Utgard moving on the same turn and a bump.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Do it.
Okay, and then Atlantis moving out a bit.
Yeah. Looks like there's some kind of existing, like, continued peace between Marignon and Utgard, because Marignon has a big stack on Utgard's border, but isn't doing anything with it, so they seem to be pretty chill for now.
I think the problem with fully committing on Utgard now, especially while they're still dealing with Ulm, like if he has to commit this army, well, I don't know. He actually could do it because Bogarus is fully committed over here with Raga.
Yeah.
So he could go over here and steal the cap.
I think he's waiting to wrap up Ulm, make sure everything goes smoothly there.
Yeah, it's probably a good call.
I mean, he might also be in like a nap 3, and the timer might be counting down on that.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and go to 75 now. But I think you're right. Okay, we see a lot of Raga. Almost all of this is Raga. Okay, so let's look around. We have Atlantis raiding Raga.
In his own heartland, so...
Right. Mono dropping. Steals a crystal mage. That's funny.
No, wait, that was...
There was nothing here.
The mono drop happened before, and then the Ragan mage just walked into it, because that's like backwards, right?
Yeah.
So wait, what did the mono drop
It must have killed nothing. It must have been literally an empty province with 0 PD.
Well, that's weird. Why would you mono drop that?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, there's a lab here, so it's not expensive to mono drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is questionable. I guess that's another thing too. If you're Raga and you're facing down like this is like a do or die thing here, like if you lose this, you're in trouble, and there's a monolith there.
Yeah, but by now I think you should have the ability to handle a monolith.
Yeah, but like, did he bring it with him? How confident is he? There's also a big army. Killing a big army and a monolith at the same time, and if you don't, you're in trouble. I don't know if that's
risky.
Yeah. Okay.
Raga Doomstack moving north.
Right. I wonder if he brought supply items as he stands in his wasteland.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He might not have.
So let's see what's happening over here. Okay, raiding there. Raiding here. Raga's raiding. Wasn't this army here before? I think this army didn't move.
I think it got reinforced. He had more armies coming in from the north.
Yeah, I think
and so I think he was waiting to coalesce. I like this positioning from Bogarus because right now he's rated ahead of the forts he's trying to capture.
Yeah.
So unless Raga can fly over that, like Bogarus for sure gets that throne east of Satis. And I didn't see if Satis was
Oh, this one?
breached.
Wait, which one?
No.
This one?
No, the forest right in the middle of the screen. Like Bogarus can storm that this turn.
Oh, yeah.
Without.
I thought you said throne, but you said fort, I think.
Oh, sorry. I meant, fort. So because Bogarus has kind of pushed ahead with his medium-sized armies, those are kind of sacrificial, right? And the main army can now take the fort. Right.
He doesn't have to worry about like 2 map move stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe even Satis. I don't know if that one has been breached yet, but.
Oh man, losing 50 troops here too. These troops, Raga's gonna need all the troops he can get. So this actually is pretty good for Bogarus here.
That's a lot of mages.
Yeah.
Now, Raga has the fire global up.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure what's the highest path fire mage that Raga gets?
Well, let's see. You're right though. I don't know if we are going to see flames from the sky.
Because flames from the sky, we might not see it. I don't think with the mod we can see it, but that is what you should be doing as Raga right now. Is just deleting all those mages.
And it's turn 75. This is when, even if it's not a priority to rush evocation, you may start getting it. But it's also early enough where it's not guaranteed Raga's going to have flames from the sky yet. But you're right. That's definitely a play here that would... Especially like these big stacks. Like this one, kind of worth doing. This one, probably not. Like, I don't think you flame... maybe that's a lot of mages.
Yeah, with the mages, for sure.
Yeah. But, but this is a good reason, especially at this phase in the game, to not completely doomstack. Because, even if he casts Flames from the Sky 3 times, it's not going to completely stop the Bogarus push. He can consolidate armies, this, that, and the other, kind of make up for it, and maybe still outnumber Raga. But it would definitely be good to cast here. We didn't have any major fights, though, I don't think. Oh, except here we did. Spoke too soon. All right, so this is Atlantis and Raga. And somebody here has a Staff of Storms. Man, Atlantis with just balls of steel. I think this is the army that got pulled off of Gath.
Oh, yeah.
There goes Stygian Rain. Oh, Gifts of Heaven. That's a lot of fire elementals. This guy's been sitting around. Oh, he puts up Firestorm.
Oh, those are summoned. Yeah, those are like the permanent fire elementals.
Right, yeah. Firestorm is what? 8 AP damage?
Maybe not 8. I think it might be less.
6 or something.
But no fire resist, so...
I think these guys... And no protection buffs. Oh my god. Who did bone grinding?
Was that bone grinding?
That was bone grinding.
Yeah, that was Raga. I just saw it.
You saw it?
See back in the middle there?
Home slice? Interesting. Bone grinding himself. He didn't really have any protection up against it. That's a salty bone grinding. I mean, his big casters, it's probably not going to kill. And his Zayedans, it's not going to kill. And the fire elementals, it's not going to kill. But he's going to give a lot of these guys afflictions, at least.
Yeah, I think it's not going to kill much. I guess.
So he might have mistimed it.
Yeah, to me, what's weird is not so much like he's not going to lose a lot of units necessarily. They will get afflictions though, which is a really a big problem. What I'm like is what did he need to kill on Atlantis' side with bone grinding? You know what I mean? Like, what are you afraid of? They're like water death mages. Like,
yeah. The other thing I think is it's putting Atlantis a bit closer to the HP. Oh my god, does it again? To the HP route threshold. With Firestorm up? Yeah, they've already HP routed, I think. Or no, not yet. 3 times? Jesus. 3 bone grindings. Oh no.
I don't think that was necessary.
I think it made the outcome extremely certain.
Yeah.
Especially once Fog Warriors went up. But...
Oh, does he not have magic weapons on his bless? I forget.
Well, I mean, Atlantis has magic weapons on their troops.
Oh, right, but I thought you meant Atlantis put Fog Warriors up?
No, Fog Warriors is one of the bone grinding counters. So when Raga put it up, it meant the last 2 casts didn't really do damage to his own dudes.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just a mistiming, as you suggested earlier.
For the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
But that he might have just had to hit his own guys once because he wanted to cast it 3 times. You only have so many script slots.
If you're doing it with your own Fog Warriors up, then sure, I can see that that's kind of free.
Yeah.
But if it's going to hit your own guys, I don't think it's worth it in the sense that it's not needed.
Yeah.
Like, 50 Zeidans and like 100 Elementals or whatever.
Yeah, they were going to kill. I think they were going to win anyway. So
they were going to win.
He might have taken more attrition from it.
But look at the mages there. Like they're the 12, but there's like a lot of high quality mages there. There's some really high blood mages in there.
To be fair though, I don't think we saw Wailing Winds. And if this went long, Firestorm might have been enough. But if it's one of the things you're worried about fighting Atlantis is long battles. Bone grinding's, I guess, a way to just make sure it doesn't go that long.
Yeah, I could see that. Got a diva, yeah.
Well, that ends the Atlantis insurrection. But in this part of the world. But it doesn't necessarily mean Raga's getting this throne back from Atlantis. Given
it gives Raga another solid front to fight Bogarus on, which he needed.
Right. And yeah, these guys can come in and, I'm guessing this army goes here from Bogarus. And just because Bogarus probably hasn't made peace with Atlantis, is my guess. Why would you?
Yeah.
Am I missing anything? This part of the world? I guess we haven't looked at Marignon Ulm.
Yeah, Marignon Ulm, I guess, is the only other thing. But I don't think there was a big battle. I think he just moved on the cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed some garbage with Fallen Angel. Fails to take this again. Yeah. But kills a bunch of garbage. So, there you go. I wonder... Ulm's gone AI.
Oh, really?
That explains these kind of weird army movements. We were trying to rationalize it. It's the computer.
That was
blank.
There before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't quite make sense.
Okay, I don't know what turn they went AI, but I think a lot of this splitting their stack up into these garbage squads.
Oh, you think that was
AI.
all AI?
Yeah, I think that was AI.
Could have been.
Could have been. Which I think after his valiant defense of the throne and then getting eaten by Marignon, I mean, he's completely checkmate. I think it's probably okay to go AI, but he probably could have inflicted a lot more damage.
Yeah, exactly. If it's kind of a dick move in the sense that other players are kind of thinking, okay, Marignon is gonna win the war, but at least it'll cost him.
Right.
But because you go AI, it doesn't cost him anything, so it's kind of like not cool to players who are not Marignon.
And I think I was the host for the game, and he didn't ask me. I didn't actually know he went AI this early. And usually you want to ask like permission. Maybe he did, and I missed it. But yeah. Anyway, probably I would have said yes. It's fine, but you never know if people in the game. It's kind of a decision, not even up to like the host. It's also up to like people in the game to like
If
decide whether you want to look for
yeah.
a sub. You know. What's that?
So I think should we go on to the next turn?
Yeah. So turn 76. Ooh, horror spam. I guess, wait, can Raga cast horrors easily?
Well, we know he's into blood quite deeply because he's got a decent amount of blood thugs.
I never had Raga pegged for a horror spam nation. 10% of them, no, 5% of them get an astral random. Because you're okay empowering in blood, but you normally don't want to empower astral.
I mean, it might just be the pretender.
Yeah, could be. Okay, so Bogarus gets hit. The reason I was kind of wondering, maybe he can't do it, and they're all happening at the same time. I'm kind of wondering if Bogarus accidentally horror spammed himself.
Oh, he just clicked on the wrong province?
Yeah, or something. This is the first time we've seen Send Horror come out, and then it comes out on the same turn, and we know Bogarus was casting 2 of them.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's my guess, actually, but... Okay, man, there's a lot of damage. I kind of want to see how did Sinless or Horror kill this many mages? Oh, I think it's a communion wigging out.
Horde of skeletons. I bet they were the wrong paths.
Yeah. Sustainable communions, folks. Sustainable communions. This could have been a bug too. Like if he has reinvigorate, there's like a thing where if you have reinvigoration scripted, but the thing's not strong enough to cause gym use, and you have like a pretty high fatigue load, you can actually kill your guys from not using gems, which is kind of odd.
Oh, right, because you were counting on the blood, the reinvigoration spell, which cleans all the fatigue. Yep.
But I don't see any slaves here, so that wasn't it. He just, I think, had this too hot. And this is just killing PD. Okay, where do you want to start, Zach?
I'm actually cheating and looking ahead at the battle reports to see if there was anything major.
Yeah.
And I haven't found anything.
Okay, well, let's start over here then with Bogarus. So he takes this fort with very limited resistance. Raga has 2 mages. Let's see how he scripted him. Unscripted, okay. I think we know how that goes. So this was the fort you were saying he kind of protected from the oncoming armies of...
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh. Now he's in a bit of a pickle, though. Because neither of these forts are broken, especially the Satis fort, which is one he really wants. And this Ragan army is a knock-in. So this Ragan army is going to get to engage in a fight before Satis can take this. I mean, Bogarus can take Satis.
I think as Bogarus, you need to, first of all, you need to be like clearing, which I think he's going to do, but he needs to like retake all those provinces around, those. But he's got like, I see heavy cav on the map, so I think he will do that. And I think you converge on Satis as Bogarus.
I mean, he could probably have a fight. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Or converge. You could converge on that forward fort if you want.
Yeah.
Because so
This is the
thing.
more likely move for Raga, right? Coming here.
Yeah, if you want to take the fight, yeah, you can go there. If you feel you can take the fight, which I think Bogarus does feel he can take, I would. So the key thing here is you do not need to defend that throne that he not the throne, the fort that he just took.
Yeah.
You don't need to be there because you have a turn because he has to break it and then attack it, right?
Right.
So if for example, if Raga moved north onto that fort province and Bogarus was somewhere else, then that gives Bogarus, that's like a free turn for Bogarus to do something.
Yeah. Okay, and this army potentially could reinforce here too. So if he wanted to, he could even, he's got a lot of moves. He could abandon Satis and have it be prepared for a fight here or here, wherever Raga went.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is I think you stack up and do a mega doom stack on maybe that one, yeah. The southern one.
And this army, which is pretty powerful, it's threatening the Ragan heartland. Like, this is Raga's cap circle. And I think it can probably one turn. Can it one turn pop? No, it's probably not a one turn pop. So, okay. Next turn is going to be exciting. Raga over here, continuing to move to take this. It looks like he's moving to take this back from Atlantis. But Bogarus, this army was here before, looking like, hey, we're interested in the Atlantis throne. But instead he's pulled south, indicating he's more interested in securing this portion of the map and potentially checking Raga's capital.
I mean, the other thing is that Ragan army in the east is getting pretty isolated because Atlantis is starting to cut him off in the south, and Bogarus has raided too with vampires and whatever. So, it's got to win a major fight, otherwise that army is not going to survive.
Yeah. And, being this isolated too, you can run into logistics challenges with gem shuttling and all of that business too. It hasn't been in a fort for a while. But I don't think it's had a major fight yet. But, especially, if it fights and loses but doesn't... I guess if he fights on top of this fort and wins, he'll have access to a lab. But if he... even if he goes on top of this fort, it's going to deny access to a lab.
Mm-hmm.
So, this army's really out here in the boonies. I kind of want to see what's happened to Raga's score graph for provinces. Yeah, it's been rough, but they're still tied for number 2 position, or tied for number 1. And they haven't really lost much. If we look at their army graph, they're holding steady. But
there haven't really been
increasing.
Any major engagements,
right? So should we just skip forward and go to... Is there something to watch in Ulm, or should we...
No, nothing really. I think an angel finally won a battle.
Oh, nice.
And so the only thing left now is Ulm itself, which I guess is still being sieged down.
Yeah.
Because that fort has 1 million HP or whatever.
All right, well, let's do one more turn, which I think can be the penultimate for this episode. Because I feel like 77 is going to have some good stuff for us. Nap 3 with Atlantis.
Messenger from Bogarus.
So that's interesting.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it meant he couldn't go for this throne, which would be convenient, but would also be really bad Diplo, because people would...
But yeah, it makes sense mainly because he wants Atlantis to be fighting Raga.
Right.
not him, right?
Right. But if he thought he could pocket enough thrones quickly enough, or he wants this throne. Like I would want this throne, but yeah.
All right. At Dire Portent, which I just clicked, is Astral Corruption.
Oh boy.
From Marignon, which has overwritten his blood vortex.
Interesting. Some bad luck.
Yeah. Or maybe he did some clever thing where he like enslaved the, whatever.
Yeah.
But which, I mean, it wouldn't really make sense, but that's interesting.
Yeah, and Cataclysm was coming anyway. Cataclysm, it's 77, right? So Cataclysm was coming in 13 turns. So it's come 13 turns early with Astral Corruption being up.
I mean, so LA Marignon is a pretty decent blood nation. Now...
Everybody left in the game except for Atlantis is a blood nation, though.
Right. But I think... like he might underestimate the extent to which, for example, Raga seems to be pretty deep into blood. We're not seeing it as much from Bogarus, even though he has a potential to be. Like we're not seeing a lot of a blood economy going. So in other words, like it makes sense to do that if you have intel that tells you that you're like the most comfortable into blood. And honestly, it's maybe a good way to negate like the gem advantage that Raga has.
Yeah, that's true.
With the globals.
It makes casting Flames from the Sky a rather risky business.
That too. But, well, we can look, I guess, after we look at the turn, but I'm not sure what... I don't know how that fits into Marignon's eventual win condition. Okay, what is this?
You remember that fort you were saying they should consolidate on and fight?
They didn't consolidate.
They didn't consolidate, I don't think.
No.
This looks like one of the stacks.
Yeah.
But it could have been two. I don't think so. And the Raga and Doom stack.
All right, let's see it.
All right. Probably the biggest fight of the episode, so let's get our stadium seating. Fog Warriors coming out for Raga. Bone Grinding coming out.
I definitely see Bone Grinding versus Bogarus is fantastic. It's devastating.
Yeah.
Records Union.
Yeah, Bogarus getting completely outclassed here. There's honestly no excuse this late in the game for Bogarus to not have... I mean, because the thing, like what Bogarus excels at, and what they're better at Raga then, is they have access to almost all the spells. So their late game potential for like medium-sized armies like this is actually huge. Because they can easily do... Well, it looks like they did do Army of Gold. So they did that, but they didn't do Fog Warriors.
Well, but what's happening here, and this is typical of human nations, is like Bogarus, you have all the paths, but you need to communion up to cast it. And
you think Bone Grinding might have stopped that?
Oh yeah, Bone Grinding for sure destroyed everything that he was about to do. Like, the Bone Grinding, the single spell, like completely counters like a nation like Bogarus, because he has Bone Grinding on like a Death 7. He can just cast it like turn 1 or turn 2.
Does he? Let's see who he has it on. I thought he was part of a communion, but I could be wrong. Nope, you're right.
See, Death 6. So he can just do that right at the beginning. There's nothing Bogarus can do. Like,
well, he did Soul Vortex first. This is so he can fire off a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So Bogarus gets his communion off.
He gets a communion, but then the next turn, like, assuming he can cast everything on turn 2, which sometimes even as a communion, you gotta cast like another buffing spell after, because you're only like 1 or 2 in all your paths as Bogarus, right?
Yeah.
So it sometimes your buffs go off on turn 3, not even on turn 2.
Yeah,
so
I see what you mean.
There's when you're playing like a human communion nation, there's like a really strong phase from like turn 40 to turn 60 where you are casting all those spells and the opponent can't do anything about it. But then the opponent starts to get those like bone grinding or whatever things which disrupt everything. And your job is to get into like, I don't know, elemental royalty or like some high path mage that can cast it on turn 1 or turn 2.
Man, these are power plays by Raga.
Because that is just what...
I mean, it was earthquakes. I don't know if you saw the earthquake. Multiple bone grindings. And he's got it higher HP stuff. Like, the Zayetans are not going to die from...
Even if there hadn't been bone grinding, this would have still gone for Raga. Because there's just too much HP. Like, we'll look at exactly how many mages Bogarus had after, but...
Well, I think it's hard to say, though, because Bogarus didn't get to do any of the things he wanted to do.
Well, what did he have there? Let's look.
He had a lot of guys.
Yeah, but that's
he brought way more mages than this guy did.
Well, no, actually, because... No, I mean, more, but not way more.
Yeah.
Because he's got like 40 cheap communion dudes. But Raga has like 20 of his cheap air mages, plus another 13 of the sorcerers, like 5 crystals. Raga has almost the same number of mages, plus, look, there's like 4 devas, 5 devas, Queen of Storms. His mages are super high quality, whereas Bogarus just has a ton of human mages. So
yeah, Bogarus does have the bargain bin. Okay, so what are things Bogarus could have done? So in some ways he was outclassed, right? Raga has better troops, he's got some demons, he's got some permanent air elementals, he's got great eagles, he's got Zayedans, he's got better mages. So in some ways Bogarus is outclassed. But like, what could he have done?
Let's look at the map. Did he bring everything, or was that just half the stuff?
Well, we can kind of tell by how much stuff. It's 400, so this was 2 of the stacks.
This was 2 of the stacks. So the question is, see, that army went west, right? Half the stacks went west.
The big group, which was on top of this, that had just taken this, they went down
went
here.
There, and then the other group went towards Raga's cap to the west.
Which, if you think about it, why would they go here if they made a deal with Atlantis? They must have been making this nap with Atlantis, thinking they could snipe this throne. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to move here.
Yeah, I agree.
But Atlantis gets the nap, and they're like, yoink.
Yeah, which of course they do. And see, Bogarus also moved his other army on the west.
Oh yeah, here.
There, right? So the question is, if all of those armies could have been in that fight. So both of those that we're looking, he could have. Now, would that have won him the battle?
Well, what do you think?
I don't... Well, can you click? Let's see what was there. Yeah, let's see what's here. Another... Nope. Okay, and the other one to the east? Yeah, that one. No, I think if he brings everything, it just all dies to bone grinding. It just would have been even more tragic.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, there were bone grindings one at a time, and there are very good counters to bone grinding, and that counter is Fog Warriors. So if you had multiple people set up to cast Fog Warriors, and one of them got it off...
I agree. That's the way to do it. I'm not sure if...
But that is not something... Like, this is a new player game. That is not something new players know. New players are not going to know, oh shit. First of all, bone grinding is not something, in my opinion, you normally see in new player games.
Agreed. Especially not from Raga, which is not like a big death nation, right?
Right. And then because of that, nobody knows, like no new player is going to know how to deal with bone grinding. And the best way to deal with it is Fog Warriors.
But they would deal with it accidentally because everybody knows Fog Warriors is good. And so he's trying to put it up. It's just, you have to try extra hard.
Right.
Now, I forget exactly Bogarus's paths, but the challenge in any human communion nation is, you can cast all the spells, but starting at turn, 60, other nations are going to have tools like bone grinding, but there are other things that are going to kind of kill human communions. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have a big power dip because now you also have to get like you also have to get like, I don't know, elemental royalty, or big blood summons or tarts or whatever. You need a thing that has 50 hit points to cast your spells, right?
Yeah.
So Bogarus is
it's nice to have that.
Well, no, you need it.
Well, like you can do duplicates, right? So like if if Bogarus has to go off, you can have like 3 people casting it.
Well, that's hard to. It's logistically that's hard. That means like you need to have like 12 air gems per battle, right? Like it's.
Yeah, but I mean that's not that big of a deal. Or like 3 is a lot, but like 2 people casting it for important spells, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And normally what you do, the best way to do it is like, let's say they're going to do Communion Master and then the spell you want to go off. You have one person set to do that, and then the next person does Communion Master, some other spell, and then the spell you want to go off.
Yep.
And what will happen is when the second person gets to that spell, if the first person cast it, even if you have conservative gem use on, they'll cast something else that they like to spend gems on, like summon air elementals. So that's not actually that bad. You don't actually cast it twice and you don't waste the gems. You just are going to summon some air elementals instead. Anyway.
It's tricky to navigate, to wrangle your communions to fight this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I do like without bone grinding, the combined, not what we saw, but if Bogarus had stacked all his armies together, even though he has like relatively bad human chaff compared to the Zeadans, like that would have been like a 70 mage communion that would have killed the Zeadans.
Oh yeah, they would have murdered the Zeadans.
It would have been like, I don't know, thunder, whatever spell they want to cast, like Soul Slay.
Thunder Strikes from Hell. It would have been nuts.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think Bogarus could have done is like this own army, like we were talking about, very disconnected from a supply or logistics network and like gems. So he could have been gem baiting this army the whole way up. And like even with like Centaurs, I don't know if like one lesser horror would have gem baited it, but I think 2 might have. Or like, other stuff. I don't, there's a lot of ways to do it. So. Well, okay, so what do you think this means, Zach? If you're Bogarus, what do you do now?
Well, now Bogarus is stuck because he lost half of his forces on this front. There were 4 stacks, 2 of them combined and were demolished. But another quarter of it, the one that's deep into Bogarus' lands, just south of like the one closest to Raga's cap. Sorry, that is kind of screwed.
Right. Things have changed a lot. Whereas this area used to look like Bogarus with like, this wasn't Raga anymore. This was like Bogarus. Now it's like all of a sudden I think this turn shifted to look like Raga with these foreigners running around in here.
So I think as Bogarus, this army that you've got selected right now, I think you kind of just plow ahead and like just be like a jerk in his heartlands to force
like all of this stuff is not defended.
Exactly, but you don't even stay to take a fort. Like you just force Raga to put together a massive army to hunt that down, so that massive army is not on your front line.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you just regroup on the front line. Bogarus is pretty big, so he's got a ton. Like he can put together another big army. You just kind of get your shit together again on that front and keep coming at it.
So, and he's also kind of losing the rating war.
He's not counter-rating fast enough, I think.
Right. Yeah. So, interesting. But I think you're right. I think offense in some ways is going to be the best defense. Push forward and fight, draw Raga's attention from allowing him to go on the offense, and that'll give Bogarus time to reform another army. Or what do you do as Raga? Just
I
take back your
think
stuff.
uh no, I think you just go. Well, okay, Raga is still dealing with Atlantis, right?
I think, yeah, I think
Um,
diplomatically, you could probably say, okay, you're not going to be able to take anything else. So you're going to give me back this fort. Let me go kill Atlantis. I think that's a deal I would take as Bogarus now.
but Bogarus just napped Atlantis. So what is Bogarus going to do if he pieces out Raga?
I don't know, but I mean,
He's napped with everybody else.
do you think he's going to win this and like take more infrastructure over here? Is that the camp you're in for Bogarus?
Well, okay. How does Bogarus win the game? Where are the thrones that he needs to take to win the game? Right?
Well, I think that's too far away right now.
Well, right, but that's what Bogarus has to be thinking about. It's like there are no easy wars to be had.
Yeah, he has to fight Marignon or fight Raga.
Marignon or Raga, right?
Or Atlantis.
Right, but he just napped him, so it's gonna take 3 turns, right? Like there's like a Raga. If he pieces Raga, Raga will eat all of Atlantis before the nap expires. Right,
Yeah,
so that was maybe a bad decision, but now that's a reality. So like Bogarus has to, like, when you're getting to the late-ish stage of the game, you have to also plan your wars based on like, okay, suppose I win this war, does that win me the game, or like do I get close to in terms of thrones, right?
But see, I don't even know that works here, because like you can do some calculus about how many like, Raga's got 3 thrones. So if I kill Raga, I get 3 thrones. Well, not really, because the second Raga starts falling to the point where it looks like you're going to get some of their thrones, Marignon's going to fight you. Like.
Sure, right.
I think it's more like where can he make progress is kind of how I'm looking at it.
Right. So I don't think. Well, it depends what kind of intel he has. Currently, because he just napped Atlantis, I don't think he can turn around and get anything from Atlantis in time before Raga does.
You think?
Right. Okay, suppose you sign a peace right now. As Raga, you immediately turn and devour Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
So you're on it, like you're just there. That's it. Like it takes 2 turns and you've got all of Atlantis's provinces.
But like the deal could be this go. Oh no, this is Raga's.
Yeah.
Well, so you're saying it would be a deal that only favors Raga, does not favor Bogarus.
Well, because I don't see so the other alternative is if Bogarus
I'm there with you.
If Bogarus thought that he had a jump on Marignon, maybe, right? But the logistics for a human nation, it's going to take him like 2-3 turns to get over there anyways. So even if you wanted to break the nap and violate it would be like iffy. But Marignon is like, he's ready for his next war. He's just waiting for the walls to crumble on Ulm. Yeah. And then he's ready to move on to something. It's probably going to be Utgard, but if Bogarus attacks him, then he'll just turn around and fight Bogarus.
Yeah. So what do you do, though? Because I don't think these armies... I mean, he can maybe do some of the things we were talking about with like gym baiting and double casting fog warriors.
Yes.
And he could have a better fight.
But well, no, he needs... I mean, he doesn't have elemental royalty, but he's blood. Honestly, he's in a tough spot. I think.
Like if this army dies, he's
that army runs.
Trouble.
That army runs back like northeast to like counter raid and regroup with a major army. Like he stops pushing with that army.
Yeah.
Right. It goes north. Let's say one turn north. Right. The army that's on his throne goes 1 turn south. Like he coalesces. That becomes his new big army there.
Oh yeah.
He just combines stuff, tries to lead them away.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has to double cast. He has to be really good with his communions. I think he needs.
And the crossbows,
more
though,
raiders.
Like, this is kind of garbage. Crossbows suck at this part of the game, especially Hogwarts crossbows.
Yeah. No, it's not. But it's less about. So at this point in the game, for a human communion nation, yes, you're getting all the buffs up, but by now Raga is also getting all the buffs up, and so all the buffs on Zeadens are better than all the buffs on whatever garbage
Right.
your human nation has. So
You make up for that with having a lot more better mages.
exactly. So the job of your stuff is to be like behind your mages to catch the flyers, whatever stuff like that. So let your mages live long enough to do the damage. So yeah, it's communions. I think he needs...
One way around some of this might be time stop.
Yes. I was going to say like golems. Like he needs... What you need as a human nation is
Talk on my keyboard again.
a few like thuggy chassis. Now, Bogarus doesn't have any national summons that I can think of off the top of my head that are kind of thuggy.
Well, they have the Roost summons, right? So there's some high-level Roost summons that give you pretty good... Like, I know you can get high-level air access through Roost summons.
Could be, but yeah, I'm not as familiar with the Roost nations. That's why I'm hesitant to say. But that's what he needs more of. He needs like a few more of those very durable kind of casters that can cast some key spells.
Right. Or things that just don't have to enter a communion is going to lower the risk too. Crown of the Magi fast casting helps a lot for these big spells, getting them
absolutely, and he can cast that. And honestly, the other thing he needs to do is he needs to start doing very small 8 mage like communion with a bunch of chaff.
Yeah.
So like 8 mages cost nothing. And with an 8 mage communion, you can do Army of Whatever and Berserk, in nature, in thaumaturgy. And Army of Whatever plus Berserk with like 40 medium infantry will kill almost anything except for like a major army. It is a fantastic way to raid as a human communion nation. And that's a kind of like he could have 10 of those armies right now.
Yeah.
And completely dominate.
Yeah, there's some alternate universe where he had like one Doom stack with higher quality mage support, like some of the summons we were talking about. And then
a lot of
really smaller armies rather than a lot of big armies.
The other thing I'm not seeing a lot of from Bogarus is like free spawn chaff. That's something that you need as a human nation in the late game. So
he's got the undead, which it's not free.
Yeah,
he's not relying, like, especially for siege strength and stuff. He's not relying only on recruitables, which is good.
Yeah, I think I would like, especially because it's a blood nation. I think he needs to get into what's it called? The blood nature.
Yeah,
the foul
spawn.
Yeah, because like I said, as a human nation, you're buffing everything, but by now Raga's buffing everything.
It's a weird path for Bogarus though as a nation. I think nature is the only thing they don't really have. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, they don't have. I don't think they have any.
What's their?
This is their best mage. Yeah, they have no nature. So
they don't have blood nature. Well, that's. I mean, whatever your free spawn is going to be.
I think for them, it's like low tier blood stuff, so they can get like bone fiends or something. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it's going to be. And the reason is, like I said, your buffed everything stuff is going to be worse than Zeaden's. So you might as well not spend gold on it, right? Like you might as well put all the buffs on skeletons. They'll be just as effective as heavy cav because their job is just take 2 hits from Zeaden's before your mages can soul slay them.
Yeah. So, okay, a couple more thoughts and then we can kind of close out this part of the discussion. Another thing, like Raga, this is a very non-duplicatable army.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are unique summons. Huge cap commitment. Like this, I mean, this is like Raga doesn't have another army like this. I think he might have one more high death mage, which he had up here. But you can also just kind of kite this around, and he could have done that and run around like really just dodge this and go take stuff, because he did. One of the advantages he had, which he has much less of now, is he had far more armies that could take forts than Raga had to defend them.
Yes.
So you can just play the numbers game and always run if you're worried about this army attacking you, and try to put as many threats on different places in the map as you can. That was another strategy he might could have done.
Well, that's still, I think, his something approximating that is still his only way out. Like, he needs to lead around.
That's why you're
with
talking about running this guy down here.
Yeah, he needs to keep doing that. We'll see. It's a fine. That's why I like the late age with like human community nations.
Yeah.
You have a lot of tools, but it's a really fine line to toe, right? Like, what size army, what size communion is going to be effective here, where I'm not wasting too much, but I can still get stuff done.
Yeah. Okay, coming over here to Marignon. Has he? Oh, we haven't cracked the fort yet.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that army. I don't know why it's still not.
And we have Marignon now moving more towards Gath. But the Gath freedom fighters are running around, though unfortunately, there's some pillaging that apparently has been happening. I wonder, can Gath pillage his own capital? I think he did. And
Unrest 402.
Yeah, so he's been pillaging his own capital, but apparently
that'll teach him.
The local undead population is not happy with that.
No, there are people to eat. You can't eat them.
Yeah. So I think that's. Is there any other stuff? I mean, Atlantis doing little freedom raids.
And Utgard's still doing nothing.
Utgard and his eternal vigil of the sacred cold lands, making no plays. What would you do if you were Utgard here? I mean, he's in some ways his fate sealed. It's really, really, really hard being a small nation in a big, scary world in the late game.
I mean, if he is anticipating that Marignon's gonna eat him, then like,
fight him.
I think you gotta like super doom stack and like hope to take a win, right?
Yeah.
There's no other, like, you forget one front, like you just move everything to the north and like go fight him on Ulm or something, somewhere where you know he's gonna be. You provoke the battle and you hope to win it. Yeah. If, on the other hand, he has a nap with Marignon and he feels confident that Marignon is like not going to attack him next, then he needs to go and like, I don't know, talk to Raga and Bogarus and see who's going to be his bestest of buddies.
Yeah, on one hand, Bogarus looks very threatening here, like they can come in and take his stuff, but so like if he dies to Marignon, it's like vulture, 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 vulture. But it's in Bogarus' interest that Utgard get aggressive and try to like kill Marignon if he thinks he can. So he could probably get a Bogarusian like nap and then just take everything you got and run up here and go after it.
If you're Bogarus, you know that Marignon can kill Utgard, so you actually don't want that war to happen for as long as possible. Because as soon as the war starts, Utgard dies, right? Like, the sooner the war starts, the sooner Utgard dies.
Well, that's assuming he loses, but yeah. I mean...
Well, I think he loses, right? Like,
well, I mean, 200 Gam herdings versus this?
Well, that fight might win, but there's like 2 other Doom stacks from Marignon on the border.
Hard to say. I could see 200 Gam herdings killing this pretty cleanly.
I don't disagree, but that's like half the armor. The other army's there, and then there's like 3 more stacks of that size. Like,
yeah, but he's also got a monolith, which, you know, I mean, Marignon can kind of deal with, but and 100 more Gam herdings. So as long as if he wins and kills this and gets Ulm's capital and keeps his own capital and kills a bunch of these Marinese armies, that's a major step forward for Utgard. Like, even if he loses a lot of his cap circle. Or you don't think so?
I think there is no way for Utgard to...
And this army is pinned. I want to point that out too. Like, if he moves this army away, then all of a sudden this starts looking like a juicy flank to Bogarus. But
so I'm right, but I'm okay, but from the point of view of Bogarus right now is worried about Raga. Let's assume that Bogarus wants to continue to fight Raga. If that is the case, then he wants Marignon to be busy with other things for as long as possible. And if the war between Marignon and Utgard is inevitable, then you want that to happen as late as possible so that it drags on as long as possible, right? So that he's busy for as long as possible. Now, if Bogarus, on the other hand, wants to peace out with Raga to attack Marignon,
which I was suggesting might be a good idea.
Right. Then
because he just got his ass kicked, and it's not always a great idea to keep at something if you don't have a clear answer yet.
But you need to have right. But if you're going to do that, then you need to Diplo Utgard to make sure that Utgard is ready to attack Marignon with you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the risk is that Marignon, instead of going for Utgard, says, "Okay, let's go for Bogarus. Utgard, you in." And I feel like in this game, getting Utgard to attack anybody or to do anything might be a big ask.
Well, and this is kind of a lot, like newer players, and they're making it now to the late game. And you learn so much in your first game where you make it to the late game, but you learn.
But you're terrified of everything because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
But you learn also as a percent, like how fast you learn is based on how much you're fighting. Mm-hmm. So all the other players have probably learned a lot more this game than Utgard has. So they probably need to help him a little bit too, and
Yeah. So you should think of attacking Utgard as like an act of generosity. You're exposing him to more.
Exposing him to late game knowledge.
All right.
Closing thoughts?
I think it'll be very challenging for Bogarus to successfully fight Raga given his current position, but it is doable. I think what isn't good is that now with Astral Corruption up, that really sucks for human communion nations because you have to craft boosters all the time. Whereas Raga just has a bunch of royalty, he doesn't need to craft anything else, and Raga appears to be deeper into blood than Bogarus.
Yeah.
So bad news.
So you're thinking Bogarus is about to get hammered?
It doesn't have to be, but
you're leaning that way with Astral Corruption, the recent turn of events.
I mean, it's contingent. I think it's out of Bogarus's hands. It depends like how effective Atlantis is going to be, say, right? Like if Atlantis is so annoying that Raga deals with him more, then Bogarus will kind of stay as he is.
Yeah. My final thought for the episode is that for me, it's a little crazy how at the beginning I was just thinking, oh man, this is a shit storm for Raga. I mean, he's so out of position. There's so much Bogarus stuff over here. What's he gonna do? And now it's completely turned around now to like a Raga favored war. Or not hugely, there's still major armies to deal with, but it no longer feels like a disaster.
Bone grinding, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you guys. Take care.